Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Voice Global. This is part of our Fireside Chat series, and I'm very pleased to bring our next guest on. Hassan Sawaf is a longtime professional in the speech and voice AI space, going back decades, actually. And now he wears multiple hats. He is the director of AI at Facebook, but he also is deeply involved with another company that has a long history in voice, and I think this will make for a very interesting conversation. Hassan, how you doing?
Thank you very much for having me, Pete.
So we met, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months ago. Started having conversations about this space, and you recently landed at Facebook as a director of AI. Before we get into the history and your deep involvement in the voice tech industry, tell us a little bit about your role there and what you do on a daily basis.
So at Facebook, I started a group which is working on artificial intelligence for augmented reality use cases. So my belief is that, computing is getting closer to the human. Tomorrow, we're going to have glasses which are going to be part of part of the way on how we interact with computing. And Facebook is working on that. Very interesting projects, new devices. Also, existing devices need basically augmented reality muscle behind it to basically artificial intelligence muscle behind it to enable augmented reality. You might have seen the Portal, which has a smart camera and which allows some augmented reality fusion of fun stuff and all of that. This is all basically just the beginning of something which I think is going to be defining our way on how we interact with computers and with the information and internet.
Well, I'll tell you, the augmented reality space, as somebody who's been in the voice tech space for about 5 years now, we've seen it starting to kind of merge together where, augmented reality, most stuff is starting to be voice activated, right? So that blending, and then you've got the human voice and artificial intelligence voices, all coming together. But let's go back a little bit, because you've been doing this for a while. This is not something new for you. And there are a number of folks that are part of this event and part of this industry that have decades of experience. But let's take us back to, I think, the mid-90s when you got your start in voice. How did you get started?
So I started actually working out of academia, working on speech translation. So the idea was, at that time already, we wanted to enable the computer, a phone or some device to basically do a real-time translation of voice. Today it's easy, relatively easy. You can find a lot of applications out there in the internet, whether it's from Google or from AppTech or from others, basically doing speech-to-speech translation. But if you think about the 90s, back in the 90s, where we didn't have deep learning, where basically machine learning was just starting to be a thing, and the computers, my server, which I was working on, training on, had 32 megabytes of RAM, right? So,
Oh, wow.
We had to build models which were efficient and still would work on servers with these kinds of capabilities. And that was a challenge. And data was not there. This is another problem. Data was not there. During the time data existed, data is now more available through the internet, through things going more digital. If I remember when I was in academia, we had 16,000 sentences to learn translations from. And today we're talking about, I don't know, 100 billion of sentences or something, where big companies are basically training their machine translation systems on. This is a drastic change. I feel that we are right now in a place where things are possible which we are only dreaming of at that time. Definitely. So, I don't know if we're still sold out, but we were for a long time sold out with portals, because, at the end of the day, the conversation people converse now more on through these devices. Meetings are happening. We used to use assistants to help us with timers and being reminded of something or looking up some information. Now assistants are helping us also connecting each other,
Yes.
helping us with things which are getting more and more critical for our day-to-day work.
Yep.
And that is, I think, a move which is relatively new. Some companies already started with doing that a few years ago, but now the demand for these how do you call that, enabling technologies, enabling
Right.
capabilities of an assistant are getting more and more. I mean, to enable productivity of us at the end of the
Right.
day. So yeah, definitely, I can see that. I can see that in Facebook. I can see that with other organizations which are doing things on call centers. I mean, the demand is, not doubling, quadrupling. One of my friends was telling me that it was 9 times as much as it was before the pandemic, actually,
Right.
which tells us, I mean, we're by far not in the technology, speech technology is by far not plateaued yet. I mean,
Oh
we're
yeah, no, we're definitely seeing it. I think that and in certain areas, there are, there's more growth opportunities than others,
Mhm,
but uh, we are certainly seeing it as an industry. Um, well, tell me this: you really come from a research and academic background. I think
yeah,
your role there at Facebook is largely in the area of kind of research. Um, and as a researcher, you're doing, you're looking at data, but you're also really trying to determine, where things are headed.
mhm.
Um, just would love to hear your thoughts on just in terms of like, where do you think the biggest growth areas are for the industry, for the voice tech space, here over the next, year, 2 years, and how much of that growth do you think has been impacted by, the reality of the coronavirus and the pandemic?
It's going to sound a little bit weird, Pete. Be patient with me. But I think one of the positive effects of the pandemic and where we're in is actually that the people are appreciating the use of speech and language through phones, through devices, etc. more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can see that in these devices like the Portal or the Echo or something like that. People are not only using it for simple things, but also more complex things, question answering,
Mm-hmm.
general understanding, and things like that. There is a lot of things which still need to be done on that level. I mean,
Yeah.
from the research perspective, we're still not where we could be.
Right.
That's one dimension which we're going to go. The other dimension, which I think is going to be gone, where we're going to go in the future, is multimodality. I mean, understanding basically more than just the spoken word, putting things in more context. A third part, which I'm super passionate about, is personalization. I mean, I don't want my assistant to be the same like my wife's assistant or my friend's assistant or my coworker's assistant. I need the assistant to understand me and my needs more. I need the assistant to be more personalized towards what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to solve this, there is not only that the system needs to understand and generate some kind of profile for yourself, but the privacy uh, thing comes into place. Am I building some kind of thing which is going to be shared with others, where basically they're going to be doing some commercial value out of it? Maybe yes, maybe no. So I need to be able that me as a consumer, I can control where my data is flowing into. Am
Mm-hmm.
I wanting the commerce company to hear what I care about and get better recommendations? Then I choose to sign up for
Mm-hmm.
this, and then I get that information. It might be beneficial to me. I might feel uncomfortable about it and say,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'd rather not. I'd rather keep it in the device or in something, and that's another dimension. So privacy first, AI is super important. It's something which the community was not thinking about it a decade ago, for example. Today it's basically in the one of the first things we have to think about when we're building AIs. So that's another component. I think those are four areas which I really am passionate about, that we need to like invest a lot in. Yeah.
Do you are we close to voice authentication?
So voice authentication is it's a tricky part. I
Right.
mean, I might be waking up a little bit groggy from the night before,
Right.
etc. So there is, I mean, I mean, if you compare today with 20 years ago, we are definitely much better than where we
Right.
were 20 years ago. But I think voice authentication usually is only reliable when you combine it with something else. I mean,
Yeah.
that's when you
Right.
see where you see basically, if a bank is using that, they use it usually in combination with a PIN
Sure.
or something like
Right.
that. I think we're getting there, but we're still a little bit away from it. I would rather use voice authentication as a secondary part in parallel. So if you are interacting with an assistant, that the system can verify it's you, that is feasible. That's
Yeah.
doable today, and I feel very comfortable about that.
Right.
Voice authentication to basically have access to the bank or something
Yeah.
like that. By using voice only, I would feel more comfortable having one additional layer on top. Yeah.
Right. So some as part of a 2FA. Well,
Yes.
Hassan, it has been great chatting with you. You have 15 minutes is not nearly enough. Just barely scratched the surface, and I think we could go for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But you've been generous with your time, and I really admire the work you're doing both there at Facebook and with AppTech. You've been in this business for a long time, and we hope that we'll have a chance to chat with you again soon,
That would
maybe
be
at our
fun.
upcoming summit this fall.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy, and we'll chat with you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you very much,
Cheers.
Pete.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks.